I recently read the book Principles, Life and Work by Ray Dalio, and there's a quote in there that really stood out to me. The most valuable habit I've acquired is using pain to trigger quality reflections. If you can acquire this habit yourself, you will learn what causes your pain and what you can do about it, and it will have an enormous impact on your effectiveness. Let's talk about it. What's up guys, Lewi here. Yep, this book is pretty powerful. I would definitely recommend picking Principles up. You can get it on Amazon or wherever. I'll put links below in the description. Before we dive into it all, Ray Dalio, the author, is a very successful investor, philanthropist. He's the founder of Bridgewater Associates, which is one of the largest hedge funds out there. So, smart guy, he knows what he's doing. He has a pretty unique approach to all the things that he does inside of business as well, inside his commitment to constant learning and improvement. So in this book, the author really kind of jumps into how his principles and how his pains and stuff have shaped the success of his business, and how he's gone through everything, taken the lessons and applied them to build something great. And again, the biggest quote that stood out to me was this part: the most valuable habit I've acquired is using pain to trigger quality reflections. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, like what does that actually mean here, right? And what does it mean for real estate and realtors? Like, how can we actually do this? Well, think about it. Think about your business. It's constantly diving in and out of pain, right? Like listings that fall through, clients that we don't get, leads, that never surface and we can't close them. Your sibling who's buying real estate or selling real estate and they use someone else instead of you. It happened to me twice. Anyway, Dalio really highlights the significance of leveraging those pain points and using them as a catalyst for growth. This is something I've been doing for a while, and I really love this, and I think the whole world would be better if we did this instead of living and wallow in our own pain and our own stories that we build about ourselves. Using these trials and tribulations that we go through and the pain that we feel, and building out on top of those to make sure we never go back to it, or that we have the right tools to equip ourselves to deal with it, is huge. Imagine all the things that you've been through, and if you had the tools that you could have got through it a lot easier, instead of taking 2 weeks to get over something that took you 2 minutes or 2 hours or whatever, you would absolutely be using those tools 10 times out of 10. So for instance, you've got a deal that's about to close, it's the deal of your life, it's the biggest deal you've done, it's going to set yourself financially free, it's going to get you all the stuff that you told your kids you could get them and all this jazz, and then at the last minute it falls through because of financing. Nothing you could have done, nothing that there's anything that you could have worked harder to fix or anything like that. Their financing just fell through and there's nothing you can do. That right there is something that could push you out of the industry altogether. It's something that you could be I can't with this, I'm just leaving this industry, this sucks, I can't believe this happened, I hate people, I'll never work with them again and all this stuff. So you're really starting to operate from this place of irritation and anger and rage, and it's coming up, and then that doesn't serve you, because what happens with those things, it drags you down into a pit, and when you're in a pit, it's very, very hard to get out of there, to claw your way out of here back into the light. So what if we can deal with it before it pulls us into this pit? So building a habit of reflecting on these painful triggers is going to be huge. Really sitting back and thinking, okay, what happened here? What could I have done differently? Or if there's nothing I could have done differently, how could I have dealt with it better? What other things can I put into practice that could have either taken the deal a different way, or when it fell apart, to build another one back up on the top of that. So really starting to look at those triggers, and the lessons that you can learn from it are really going to push you in a better direction. It's not like this isn't going to suck, right? This isn't a tool that's going to be whatever, who cares? Because that's crazy talk. The point of this is to give you tools to be okay, I can deal with this. Let's just learn the lesson. What happened there? Maybe was it a lender? Was it a document that wasn't received in time? Was it a story that someone else was telling you about the finances they had? What actually happened? Why did this deal fall apart? We need to dive into that and make sure that we don't actually end up in that situation again. Because the biggest problem when you're in those situations is that you start to work out of scarcity, and you start to work out of desperation, right? You're oh my God, this deal is going to fall apart. I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to have this. I can't give my wife this. Can't give my kids this. And because of that, you start to work out of desperation. Maybe you try to start saving a deal that can't be saved, or that you're only trying to save it for your commission and not for your client. Maybe it's not financing, maybe it's an inspection item or something like that, where it's not the best case for your client and you're trying to save the deal for yourself. You know, we're all human, stuff like this happens. But for me, 9 times out of 10, when I start dealing with these things, I can take self-responsibility for at least my part in what's going on. Sometimes it's out of your control, but you still could have done better myself. Like, I could have done better in this situation. Okay, why am I in this place right now? Well, it's because I had this high ticket client and I put all my effort, all my energy into this client, and I forgot about this person, this person, this person, who were all maybe like a $200,000, $300 price points. This person was like 3 million, so I was so focused on this commission check that I forgot about XYZ people right here. So if I'd been focusing on everyone at the same time and this one fell apart, I still would have closed these ones and I wouldn't be in any kind of financial mess. So there's discipline, there's management, there's time management, there's effective productivity, things that you need to be putting into your business to make sure that doesn't happen. Well, if it is the only deal on the table right now, why is it the only deal on the table? What am I doing that could get me more clients? You know, is it just because I don't like doing business in a certain way? I don't like door knocking, cold calling, whatever. Well, that's fine, but it's still my problem. I could have gone out and door knocked my whole neighborhood, but I didn't want to because that's not the way I want to build my business. But is that a valid excuse for me not to be providing for my family? So you really need to start digging in deeper to these things, really digging internally, like, what's the fundamental problem here? Is it the fact that I'm just not willing to do the things that I say I'm willing to do? It's a tough one. One of the other big things he talks about is clarity. Like, having clarity in what you're doing is huge, and we talk about this all the time on the channel with, you know, again, time management, task management, clarity of vision, goal setting, everything like that. If something falls apart, you can keep on moving towards your goals. Like, if you don't have goals set, defined, if you don't have a working strategy of what you're doing every single day, you know, week, month, quarter, whatever it is, then yeah, if this thing here falls apart, I'm screwed because I have no roadmap that I'm following. I'm just taking whatever deal I can and hoping it all works out. So really, I guess the biggest takeaway that I got from this and that I've been really looking at in the last few years here is self-responsibility, taking that on, and also knowing your path, where you're trying to go, where you're trying to get to. If you're not clear on that, if a shiny penny comes along, like a luxury deal or whatever, obviously you're going to gravitate towards that and put all your energy in. And if it falls apart, your whole world falls apart because you've invested so much emotion into that one thing. If I have a path that I'm following to get to my goal, to get to my next step, I know that I'm on that path no matter what. If a shiny penny comes up, awesome. That's really, really great. We're going to put that and work on it in the business, but I'm not going to let it deter me from the path that I'm on. Okay, it's going to project me. It's going to become a propeller in my business, but I can't let it be an anchor. I can't let it drag me down into the thick of it. And this could be clients, this could be other agents in your company, this could be whoever. You can't get dragged down and taken off your path. You have to stay on your path no matter what. And if something bad happens, you have to just reflect on that immediately. You can journal, you can do whatever. Really think about why that happened. What is the lesson that you can take out of it? How can you take that lesson and put it into your business again so that you can keep on going on that path? So this book is really, really good, guys. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Again, I'm going to put a link in the description below, but it's a huge part of my business and part of my personal life for sure, is taking personal responsibility and making sure that I'm only focused on one thing, because if that one thing falls apart, everything else goes. You have to have multiple balls up in the air at all times, making sure that if one falls, you just keep on juggling and keep on moving. So read the book, check it out, guys. I'd love to know what you think about it, and I'll see you on the next one.